Rugby is one of the most popular sports not only in the UK, but also the world. The most recent World Cup in Japan is said to have been watched by more than 857 million people. However, fears of dementia have risen in recent years. Several high-profile players have been diagnosed with dementia at young ages post-retirement. This includes former All Black Carl Heyman, who was diagnosed age 41. Other players have been diagnosed, such as English World Cup winner Steve Thompson and former Welsh international Alex Popham. I went back to my old university, the University of South Wales, and spoke to lecturer Dr Thomas Owens about the risks of playing the sport. Dr Owens, who studied a PhD in physiology, investigated how concussion affects brain function across the lifespan of contact sport athletes. Dr Owens, who's now finished his studies, told me of what he found in his research.
Over the course of one competitive rugby union season, so these were in the professional rugby union players, we saw that brain function did decline over the course of one season, and this was largely linked to some of the changes that we saw in the players' blood. So molecules that help the blood and the blood vessels function, their markers were reduced, and therefore also reduced brain function. Fast forward that on to the retired rugby union players, and we're kind of seeing the longer term consequences of that, whereby brain function in terms of their ability to remember things, their ability to concentrate on tasks had declined massively, to the point where they were actually, a few of them, diagnosed with something known as mild cognitive impairment, which is a measurable decline in brain function, which the person may not be necessarily aware of, or doesn't affect their ability to carry out daily tasks, but is linked with an increased susceptibility to things like Alzheimer's and dementia later on in life.
Thompson and Popham are two of 8 former players that are aiming to bring legal proceedings against World Rugby due to what they claim is a failure to protect them from the risks that the sport bring. Thompson says he can't remember winning the World Cup in 2003 and would not want his kids playing the game the way it is at the moment. Dr Owens agreed that this legal case could benefit the sport long term and spoke of what changes are already being made.
There's guidance from World Rugby to suggest that this should be limited, or contact training should be limited to around 15 minutes per week. I think that's something that needs to change from guidance more towards a ruling, because I think that will help maintain consistency and ensure each club is able to follow, guidance that is more specific and, in order to try and protect the players ultimately.
Whilst the sport's popularity shows no signs of slowing down, the sport may change long term dramatically.